Hi everyone, here we are with the Church of the Simulation, talking to you directly from Kiki Tattoo Studios, Kiki Curso Tattoo Studio here in Bragança Paulista. And Kiki is a dear friend of mine, and Kiki is one of the reasons why I'm able to bring you this video tonight. He's been playing a very important role in my life in the moment, and it's very rewarding to see the exchange that we have one for another. It's quite interesting. I'll go into details of the story in the video, and you're gonna see the parallels, and you're gonna see something very interesting that I want to point out that is gonna be delicate to deal with. But here we go. So what I want to talk about tonight is it's about the transfer of energy. It's the energy flow that we're seeking each day to either get out of our system or elicit emotions from other people. And this is a very good thing for us to have in mind. It's this concept of the emotions that we want to feel and the emotions that we want to elicit from another, because that generates the polarity between the connections, and we can have energy flow. All we're seeking for is energy flow. I don't know if you saw my previous video when I was talking about the game of life. On the game of life, I said, jokingly or not so jokingly, that what if there is a metering system about how much emotion you transmute here on Earth during your journey, and there's a meter for that. How much energy flow you have flowed in your life. It's almost like an engine bragging about how much fuel it burned, how much work it produced, how much energy it generated. You see, so it's the same concept. Why do we want a car with 1,000 horsepower? Because that's the intensity of the energy that we want to flow from us. You know, and every level you choose to flow your energy at is perfect. This is not a judging system. This is just an information system. So what's the intensity of that emotion you're feeling? What's the difference between a glass of water when you're home comfortably versus when you're lost in the desert for a day, versus when the water has been handed to you by a holy man with prayers and blessings on it? So what's the energy, what's the difference in energy between these two, all these three examples, and how does that make us feel? That is one of the key points that we have to observe, is we are trying to transmute energy, and we're trying to find energy and the energy spectrum of emotions. We want to find the right emotion that we can transmit the most intensity with in that moment in time. Let me say that again. A metering system that will tell you how much energy you want to flow at any given moment of time. Because sometimes we want to flow 30%, sometimes we want to, flow 40, 50, 60. Do you feel 80%? I feel 100%. Ah! You see? Pardon me. So, where we choose to focus our intention for us to generate a connection with something that elicits an emotion from us. If it's another human being, or if it's another being, what emotion do you want to elicit from them? So there's two sides of the cathode and the anode. Because we need to close the circuit. And closing the circuit, we will transmit energy. And the more tangents you have to one another, the stronger the connection is. I'm going to talk about the tangents of the connection a little bit more in detail because this has to do with sex. Because sex is the ultimate example when we want to elicit emotions from someone else, isn't it? I mean, that's why we do it, and we have benefits with it also, and that's the principal reason why we watch porn. It's because we're trying to look for things that elicit emotion in us. Concurrently, when you meet someone for the first time of the opposite sex or the opposite side of your connection, ooh, how cool is that? You're not male, you're not female, you're just a positive or a negative. Not in like emotion, I'm positive, but I'm a negative person. No. I'm talking about the cathode and the anode. So, depending on what you need to close the circuit, you choose your preference. It doesn't matter what is dressed as. It doesn't matter what is it dressed in, on, what it's wearing, not only in clothing but also in skin and bones. What is it wearing in that human body? And what about that human body that can give me more connection to this person? We talk about attraction. I am attracted to you. We're trying to describe that energy. And that energy of attracting is what we want to elicit from them. Why does a lion bite its prey? It wants to elicit something from them. It wants to eat them. It wants energy. Okay? But we're not talking about food here. Okay? We're talking about sex, which is a little bit different, but it's kind of the same energy if you think about it. Be honest. Am I wrong? So, we want to flow energy with someone else. Doesn't matter what that someone is dressed as or thinks is. All that matters is the connection between you and the person. So it's not boy, girl, it's male, female, trans, this, that, BGTQ plus. All that matters is what sort of connection it gives you, what polarity it fills. One of you is a plus, one of you is a minus. You're closing the connection. And here we are sitting in the little booth, giving this energy, closing our connection, offering this energy up the food chain, only to understand that we're sitting in a battery cell, fueling the simulation. We are batteries, just like the Matrix says. The Matrix, the movie, Wachowski brothers. You've watched it. If you hadn't, you wouldn't be listening to this video. Cast. I'm gonna cast upon you. Beware. Okay. Okay, hear me out. There's more. I want to invent a new way of identifying with energy and connection to another human being. And I want to explore on the idea that our gender definition is missing one element to it. Sorry, I'm losing words here. Okay. I think I need to start telling some stories here. So, I am a martial artist. I'm a black belt. I am a teacher. I teach martial arts. I'm also a teacher. I've taught undergraduate level in the University of Iowa, and I've taught students. I've tutored, and we have this energy that makes us. We have the intensity of us that it's always been there. Some people have it more, some people have it less. And the flow of that energy inside you is what determines your vitality, right? And all these things can be skewed simply by the power of the mind. But the power of the mind is more persuasive to itself if it has mementos or things that will give remembrance to the things that were suggested, the things that were planted, the things that you want to reap out of the sowing that you're doing. And we're going to start to get religious here really quickly because, after all, we are the church of the simulation. So we are a church, we have beliefs and we have ideals and we have our concept of what the universe is. That's what happens with my eyes when I get like this. Didn't that rhyme? Okay. Can I recalibrate my eyeballs? Okay. So that was funky. We have 22 emotions that we were given by Abraham Hicks, which is a voice that speaks through Esther Hicks, and they call themselves Abraham. It's a collective, and they bring messages about the law of attraction, manifestation, feel goodness, and very, very good life lessons. And everything they say is 100% aligned in the truth. And it's a pleasure to hear anything that Abraham is saying. And thank you, Esther. Thank you, Jerry. So, anyways, sorry, I'm trying to watch the time. Okay. Sorry, I'm blind. Yeah, comes with experience. There's a trade-off, A quid pro quo. You give something, you get something out. That energy gives something out of you. So I have a former father-in-law that is a second father to me, and he's kind of a manly man. He's always been a joking alpha male macho type thing, but with a flirty way, which is kind of sick, weird, and disturbing. Some things that we guys don't understand. It's like the slap in the butt in the locker. Like, why? You see, so there is an exchange of energy in an incident like that. It's a very, very important fact to consider. So what's the exchange of energy between two parties? It's how much energy I think this person can elicit in me and how much I think I can elicit from this person. So there's always a twofold distinction. Just like, we should pull up a dating app that allows the candidate only 3 pictures. 1 picture looking at the camera, 1 picture smiling, and 1 picture in an orgasm, and another picture laughing, right? It's kind of fun. So I was playing with how many numbers it was. So it's normal looking at the camera, so not serious but flat face, smiling, laughing, and during an orgasm. And those are the only pictures that you can post on your profile, and then people can vote how much affinity they have to you, to your profile. And this is the key thing: no names or numbers, because we're bits of information in the computer. We're bits of information in the battery cell that's producing energy. So we're in bits. We're digital. So, what is the range? I got lost. Every time I do that, I start a new tangent. But I come back to it eventually if it was worthy. Everything just depends on how much you think you're going to elicit out of this. Why would anybody do anything? Why would anybody want to sell anything? It's because how much energy can I get from you for this thing that I'm offering you? That's the basic energy exchange in a financial transaction. You know, how much energy I can get from you from offering you what I'm offering you. So, what's the energy exchange? It's sort of like the dating app I was talking about. That's what I was talking about. Where you elicit emotion from that other person. So, you create your profile, you take a picture, a flat face, smiling, laughing, and then an orgasm. And then the viewer can vote swipe left, swipe right if they feel a connection to you in your pictures. Doesn't matter who you are. And then you get a statistical analysis on your profile afterwards in your locker room inside your hub. And what I'm describing here is the concept that I don't want to say invented, but I brought to the world, which is called the I Feel app. And I want to go deep into the I Feel app because it's an idea worth spreading. And if you guys want to partner with me, if you guys want to donate money, time, energy, if you want to donate energy, if you want to donate money, what is money? Condensed energy. That's what money is. And why all of a sudden when you have money, things speed up? Because money is energy. You see? Money activates things. Money moves things. Money buys things. Money elicits emotions. And sometimes pretty good emotions. And sometimes emotions too good. And then sometimes emotions that we can't live without. And we would do anything to be on top. Of the emotional listening. And here is a very interesting concept. And it comes to do with a reference which is kind of silly, but it's the concept of the picture of you in an orgasm, right? So I know that every orgasm is different. I know that every orgasm is a different intensity. I know that every orgasm is a different duration. Every orgasm is its own entity, because every orgasm is a particular ray. Like in a lightning bolt, you have that ray of energy, that energy discharge path, and that path is unique. Just like each one of you is unique, and you have all your certain characteristics. And if you ain't found the right person yet, it's because that right person ain't found you yet. You're looking for each other, so relax. It's gonna happen when your vibration is vicinal. Look it up. When our vibration is vicinal, we can attract each other, because like attracts like. You say, but no, the magnet attracts the South Pole and the North repels the North Pole. So how do you explain that? No? Considering that the magnet is one continuous entity and it sees itself as one continuous entity, what is it attracting? It's a part of himself. So when you splice a magnet in half, it creates another magnetic field around that part and around that part too. because that part is attracting itself and this part is attracting itself. So that like is attracting the other like all the time. But we call it south and north because of the flow of energy, because we have to have a sense of direction. Any engineers here? Right? Recognize this? Right head thumb rule. Yes, we're educated here. Okay, so we're 20 minutes into it. I don't know if this is worth your while. I don't know if this is worth my while. I just know that I smoked some joint and it was fucking brutal. And a lot of things got revealed to me. And I just want to share them with you. Because I believe I have to. I think it's part of my purpose. I think it's part of my calling. And part of what's going to make energy flow in my life. Because energy is stagnant. AF. I tell you. I mean... Okay, I'm going to go into a little bit of my story of woe. I should. Maybe I won't. Maybe this is a lesson for me too. Doesn't matter what happened. Right? Can you change it? No. Can you ruminate on it? Yeah. Why do you ruminate on it? Because you're looking for something in it. There's a lesson there for you. That's why you can't get out of it. And you keep coming back to that memory. You're gonna keep coming back to that emotion because that emotion is trying to tell you something desperately. And you can't understand what it is. So every time you get an emotion, that emotion is telling you something. It's telling what emotional range in the scale you're thinking about that thing you're thinking about. You see, you're always thinking about something. If you weren't, how would you know it? That's a saying from an old friend, Ed Foreman, two-time congressman, phenomenal person. Was introduced to Ed Foreman via Kevin Trudeau and his fantastic, phenomenal club of enlightened beings, the Global Information Network. Kevin is a true messiah. Kevin is Kevin. And he transmutes energy by helping others transmute energy. He is the ultimate eliciter of emotions. That's why he was so good in marketing. That's why he was so good in infomercials. He's known as the king of the infomercials. He sold like 1 billion gazillion books. He has the power of influencing people and he knows it. And that's a presidential power, if you think about it. I shouldn't say presidential power, I should say leader power. But in some cases we give our leaders too much power. And the power we give our leaders is our power. So if they are all powerful, think of how much power you're giving away. Because it's only an energy flow. And that's the point, that's the whole point. In that previous video that was talking about the game of life, remember that I was talking about karmic debts and karmic repays? And that is nothing more than a way of saying that we're going to have an energetic exchange at one point, you and I. Situation, emotion. And you're going to appear to me in whatever character, whatever fantasy, whatever occurrence, whatever persona, whatever actor I choose it to be or moment choose it to be. And in that character, you're going to find the emotion that is going to teach you something about you. That's why it's calling to you so intensely. That's why you keep coming back to that. Whatever the emotion is. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a practitioner, and do I have to be? There's a certification. Is a certification the thing that allows me to tell you something that I feel? No. And we're talking about feelings here. We're talking from the heart. We're talking from the soul. And that's what's important. The safety to open up. Because, quite honestly, we need to protect our energy. Why do we need to protect our energy? Because there are others that are seeking your energy. What others? Okay, remember when I was asking you to do a certain rating system on the how much you think you can elicit emotion from that person, and how much you think that person can elicit emotion from us, and the average of those two indexes gives you the what did I call him? It was a cute shiliki. Shiliki. That's a Brazilian word we're going to coin, and we're going to bring to the world. What's your shiliki level? And shiliki is that feeling that you get the flutters. Right? That's shiliki. So what's the shiliki index of this person you just met, or this person you just saw the picture on the app? And the 4 pictures: straight face, smiley face, laughing face, orgasm face. And that's the app. And the shiliki index, people who see the picture are going to decide what's the shiliki index that they think they can elicit from you, and what's the shiliki index that they think you can elicit from them. And your shiliki index is the average of those two. And this website is just numbers. You're a number. You're not a person. And you have a number. Yes, let's critique this robotic society that's coming up. And we're going to work with the emotions. And we're going to put the joke on them. Okay? So we're going to have user numbers, not usernames. And people are going to randomly choose pictures of other people that they see that are not serious, flat face, smiling, laughing, coming. And all those are the pictures. And then in the end of the day, you can go into a dashboard and you can see how many hundreds of people saw your pictures, and how many hundreds of pictures think that they can elicit emotions from you, and how much emotion that they think you can elicit from them. And that's your average. You're going to have a shiliki index, a shiliki index to you, based on the perception of the people who you gave shiliki to. Does that make sense? So that's the new rating system. That's something that we're going to bring. Just like the gender neutrality. It's not that you're gender neutral. You're a plus or a minus, and you don't know that until you find the other half of your connection. Because how would you know? How would the positive pole know it's the positive pole? Who would tell the positive pole that he is the positive pole? And he knows he's not the negative pole. And he wants to close circuit because it's seeking the energy that's flowing through it. Okay, we talked about energy flow, we talked about I want to talk about, and this is going to be funky, It's a new definition of sexuality, a new category that doesn't exist, right? And um, I was thinking about this afternoon, and it didn't occur to me to say it in the video. You know the shiliki word that I came up to, because it's the flutters, the shiliki that you get. It would be cool if we link shiliki to Daddy Tantra. Daddy Tantra, of course, is the channel that we have that deals just with the transmutation of sexual energy. And Daddy has been researching this for over a decade, and he has made leaps and bounds of knowledge acquired and teachings that he can pass, techniques that he can share, and vitality tricks, exercises, lifestyle, health. So there's going to be a whole host of things that Daddy can teach you about his exploits and the things that he has learned in life. And most of the things, believe it or not, that Daddy will teach are related to sex, because sex has been the portal that has been helping with the release, with the helping with the cure. Yeah. So when we're talking about the emotions that we want to elicit on the other person, and in a relationship we do that all the time. And I see videos of couples, and they're doing lots of things to elicit emotions from their partner, because that's what's missing in the relationship, is the transfer of energy between the parties. So if they cannot find one way to transmit energy, they will find another way. Life finds a way. So we will understand that all this has to do with how much energy you're going to transmit through that person, and how much energy you're gonna get from that person. And by energy, you can choose an emotional range, where we're talking about the emotions. On the emotional scale, what is the emotion that I want to elicit from this person? And then what is the intensity of that emotion, right? Because you can wish someone to eat an okay cake. You want to wish the person to eat a better cake, or you want to wish the person to eat the most delicious, phenomenal, banged up, awesome, flavored, everything goddess, god of Neptune cake that you will ever eat in your life. I've eaten one of those. And so how much energy do you wish the other person? Who decides that? It's your ego, isn't it? Your ego decides how much energy you want to flow to the other person, and what that energy is. So if you feel nothing but love from that person or towards that person, nothing but love will flow from me. So that energy is pure, that energy is light, that energy is very effective, and is like you know those Buddha boards, those boards that you can write with water and a brush, and it has a special padding that it evaporates within seconds. So the higher emotions are like that brush of You can call it paint. It wasn't paint, it's water. So one brush stroke from a high positive vibration, if it's light, it just flows because it's pure energy, it's not dense. So as we descend the emotional range, the energy starts getting a little slower, get a little stickier, and a little harder to remove. So now I'm addressing Miyazaki's Spirited Away, the bathhouse. So that's an allegory for the same thing that we're talking about. So people know this. People have been telling us about this. People have been discovering this and rediscovering this and addressing this, but they never realize that this is a religion. This is the religion of the transferring of the energy, and how we transfer energy through us, through the other person, back to the simulation. Because this is the church of the simulation, and we are the battery cells that are playing the damn thing. Pretty wild, isn't it? Yeah. So the highest flow of energy you can elicit from someone is during an orgasm. And if you follow basic evolution, you want to generate more and more intention and with more frequency, because you want to transmit a lot of energy with this person because of your connection, because of your affinity, and because of how well you get together, because of how much energy parallels are between your cathode and your anode, how strong is the connection, and how much flow that connection is going to have through you guys back into the matrix. Kind of like Monsters Inc. The child screams in the room, ah! It fills up a canister on the other side. That had a little accent to it, didn't it? If I throw a little slur like this, I might even sound like Forrest. Okay, so eliciting emotions. So we want to make the other person orgasm. And the harder we make them orgasm, the better we're going to feel. Because we want to elicit emotions from them. And the most intensive emotion that you can elicit from someone. Well, I know exactly what you're going to say. I'm talking about the positive. I'm dressed in white, bro. Okay, I know we have masks in the background, but this is a righteous place. This is a temple, because this is the church of the simulation. You should check out our altar upstairs. It's phenomenal. This side of the temple, because it's a polarity. So there's the two polar opposites of the temple. This side of the temple is the yellow and the red and the blue on that room. I'm going to show the wall later. That's the blue side of the yin yang. And on the other part of the temple upstairs, it's the red part of the temple, which is the red part of the yin yang. Think about the Korean flag. Just think about how in the yin yang, that one side wants to fuse with the other. Right? So you get balance because one is blending into the other. And you see, this might be a toroidal field that is spinning on itself. So if you look at it like a donut, that donut is feeding into itself with a little dot inside of itself. And that is exactly what the yin yang represents. That spiral motion. The emotions that we feel. If you break up the word emotion, it's emotion, which is energy in motion. Duh. Wait, say that again? Can you say that again? The energy that we feel through our emotions is 100% concurrent to the energy that emotion makes us feel and makes us flow through us. And we could have a rating system of the intensity of the emotion. So that's, I think it's in video number 4, or maybe video number 10. I was talking about the octane rating of emotions, which is how you attribute the quality to it. What's the quality of that emotion? What's its octane rating? How much energy can it transmit? Because the octane is how much that specific fuel has its power to explode. It's the explosive power of the fuel. So that's the octane rating. So in the octane rating, you see how much energy you can get from the same explosion. Do you want more energy flow? Yeah, of course I want more energy flow. Who would ever say I want less energy flow? Someone who is sick. And I'm not saying insane in the main brain. No, it's not that kind of sick. I'm saying someone that's sick, like their body is not flowing energy as it should. That's why you get sick. Because we're always flowing energy through us. And when energy is not flowing through us, it gets stuck. And emotions get stuck inside the body. And those stuck emotions start solidifying and making the energy denser and denser, and they almost start to act like a glue. When they start acting like a glue, they form cancer. Because they're gluing to you. It's very interesting that our thoughts are so powerful and we have no cognition of it. We have no idea. And we are so powerful and we have no idea of this, no conscience of this, because we came here to discover something that was being tried to be hidden from us. So that's the playful side of life. You know, when you're playing a game of hide and seek with someone, what if you're playing a hide and seek with emotions as a gift to the other person? And when you get back into the matrix, you and your buddy disconnect from the machine and you're gonna go like, I got you in that emotion, didn't I? Did you see what I threw to you? Did you see your wife I threw your way? Because they wanted to elicit emotions from you and they played in your game. They altered your game energetically. And you altered their game energetically also. And that's how transference of energy happens. There's a very interesting transfer of energy between my master and I. You know, he's been in his craft for over 25 years. He's a young fellow, but he's started early. And he's talented beyond belief. These are all his awards, and just part of his awards. He's a real words guy. He's a good deal. And it's very interesting that our stories are so similar between he and I. It's almost like two polarities of the force. That's kind of implies that the temple upstairs is red and the temple down here is blue. Which is, it's funny that if you see it like that, what's the polarity here? What's the dynamic here? And this is where I want to coin a term that doesn't exist. It's a concept that hasn't been invented yet. So it's when you have a friend of yours that's really your friend, that he's like really, 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 really your friend. You wouldn't betray him for anything. That's the bromance that I'm trying to address here. And in this broman, we should call it something. So I'm proposing that we call Daddy Tantra between two friends and their willingness to see the other one succeed, and how much energy they want to flow with that person, and how much is their shiliki with that person. And you see, it's shiliki is all the same thing. It's the energy flow that you feel from the other person. So in this new concept is like, I love my bro, but we're not gay. You understand? So that's how it works. You have to understand how much energy flow that person can flow through you, and you can flow through her. That's why buddies high five all the time. That's that energy between them. And that energy flow is important because they have a polarity between them and they're flowing energy together. It doesn't matter which one is which, and they don't have to be romantically involved. You know, it happens in sports all the time. You know, imagine your teammate just scored an amazing goal. You know, and he just threw the impossible shot, and he did it last minute, last second before the buzzer. How special is that? How much energy does that elicit from you? And the elicity of emotions through sports is one of the oldest rule books in the game. You know, it's one of the oldest forms of energy extraction. Energy extraction. One of the earliest forms of energy extraction from the masses that they figured out. But of course, the earliest of them all is fear. So just as long as they got the crowds feeling something, generating energy, generating output. And I even tend to propose and risk saying something that might surprise you. So what if we have an energy of emotion that we want to transmit, and it's so powerful and it's so big that we don't know how to do it, and we need to share that emotion with someone else to kind of carry the load with us. So that person you want that person to hear you out, hear your story, and empathize with you. So that person knows how you're feeling, because you want that person to feel what you felt, because you want that person to flow like you flowed. And then that is how much emotion you want to elicit from that person. So girlfriends, you know, when you're like, you can't wait to tell your BFF about something, it's because you want her to share that emotion with you and transmit that emotion with you and transmute that emotion with you and just get it through you. That's why you can't stop. And that's why girls can't stop. And we're going to get into more detailed aspects of Daddy Tantra in later videos. But for now, we're just brushing on a lot of subjects here. Okay, but we are going to get into techniques and very interesting material that you might find very amusing to acquire. So I'm trying to decide exactly what we're talking about next, because the door just banged so loud. Sorry guys, we're in the middle of a studio here. Again, I'm broadcasting today from Kiki Tattoo Cursos here in Bragança Paulista. He is my buddy, and he is a very talented man. I'll do a showcase of my tattoos later. That will be linked to my profile, my modeling profile. That would be Freddy Cockpitch. That's my artistic name. That's my artistic name. One of them. I'll tell you about the other artistic names that I have in subsequent videos. That's classified information. So I know this feels almost like a life, but it is in a way. Yeah. Is everything making sense about the transmutation of emotions and how we want to flow energy through sex? Because A, it's the most pleasurable way, B, it's the most intense way. You know, and C, we like doing it. We're here to do it. It's how it closes our connection. And when you close that connection with your partner, and here, sorry guys, this has to be a boy and a girl because babies can only be made with a boy and a girl. And the portal can only be open with a boy and a girl. But you can still feel the intensity of the emotion. But the portal is not going to open. The portal will only open when a male and a female are in intercourse. So the strength of that portal is concurrent to the energy flow of the emotions that both of you are feeling in your copulation. And that is the metric that generates in the monster world, the filling up of the canister. You know, the canister fills with energy, so you transmute more energy in sexually. And Daddy Tantra is going to teach you all about that aspect of the Church of Dissimulation and how the art of transmuting sexual energy can be expressed through the teachings of Daddy Tantra. And it's coming soon. Okay. There are many things that I wanted to express tonight. Most of the things I spoke about were things that were given to me, revealed to me in this last ceremony. And it's a privilege to be able to record this and transmit this to you. I did a Portuguese version. It was completely different. Like, none of this shit came out. And I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe the level of cognition that my target audience is in Portuguese is not the same vibrational frequency as my target audience in English. Isn't that interesting? Different vibrations. Even though the information is coming from the same source, because of the vibration of the receptor, the energy changes. That's why when couples get a lot of affinity between each other, they amplify the energy within each other because they want to elicit more energy from each other. You see? And that index of the compatibility between two people is the Shiliki index. And the Shiliki index is the weighted average between how much you think this person can give me pleasure and how much pleasure I want to give to this person. The average of those two, and that's your Shiliki index for that person. And everyone you meet will have a different Shiliki index. And believe me, you will choose a higher Shiliki index for the person you bring to bed. Because what are you doing with a low Shiliki person? You understand? So it's a metric system, and it's scale 1 to 10. So in 1 to 10, how much pleasure I want to elicit from this person, how much emotion I want to elicit from this person. and how much emotion I can elicit from this person. And the weighted average of those two indexes creates the Shiliki index, brought to you by Daddy Tantra. It's the metric system of affinity of energy transmission. That was cool. I should patent that one. And I think I'm arriving at everything I wanted to say tonight. This is a very special night. I'm here at Kiki Studios, Kiki Tattoo Cursos in Bragança Paulista, and it's been a pleasure working with Kiki. He's a great man, very talented tattoo artist, and I recommend you follow his page, Kiki Tattoo Cursos. I just find his clown thingy on his profile picture in my account. His kind of a trademark. He's good with clowns. That's his kind of a specialty. So he's known as Mr. Clown. That's why his name is Kiki, because people when they laugh they go like Kiki Kiki Kiki. That was yeah. Well, you asked for it. If I'm talking to you right now, you're here with me right now. That's affinity right there. Give me a call.